Now come to the next question, that is 24th, which in which we have to identify the wrong statement, right? The pons, cerebellum and the medulla oblongata, that means it is talking about the hindbrain, right? It comprises the hindbrain. Yes, it's right. The pons directly connects to spinal cord. No, pons is not directly connected to the spinal cord. Pons is connected with the medulla oblongata. Then medulla oblongata continues in the form of the, and then with spinal cord, right? Cerebellum has the convoluted surface to accumulate the more neurons. Yes, right, right. So the wrong statement is Bombay, right? So the answer is the Bombay. Clear? That is B. Now come to the next question. The reflex pathway consists of. Now what is that reflex pathway? When we talk about the reflex pathway, that means they are called the reflex action, right, and reflex arc. What will happen? See here. When we talk about the reflex action, we know that the reflex action is the immediate involuntary response, right? That means, that is the question, the involvement of brain is not occurs in the reflex action, right? When we contact with some thermal or when we contact with some hot pen or something, right? So what will happen? The pain receptors in the fingers, which are called the Algesi receptors, they they carry the stimulus, right? These are the afferent pathway which carry the impulses and goes towards that, right? What will happen here? The interneurons, this is the components of the reflex arc, right? These are the receptors which receives, this is the afferent pathway, this is the integrating center, right? This is called the integrating center. Clear? This is called the integrating center, and the that is the ascending pathway of the brain. Clear? And what will happen? This is the efferent pathway which goes toward the effector. These are the muscles, and what will happen? We withdraw the hand like that. That is the response, right? So when the painful stimulus heat activates the thermal pain receptors in the fingers, that action potentials are generated in the afferent pathway and propagates the impulses to the spinal cord, right? Now what will happen? The spinal cord serves as the afferent neuron, serve as the integrating center. Here the afferent neuron stimulates the excitatory internuncial neurons, right, which stimulates the motor neurons of the biceps, right, inhibitory interneurons which inhibits the motor neurons to the triceps, right, and same as that, the what will happen? The efferent pathway stimulates the bicep to the contract, and the other way efferent pathway leads to the relaxation of the triceps. So it preventing the counterproductive excitation and the contraction of the antagonistic muscles, right? So in that way we that is called the reflex arc, right? That is called the reflex arc, which is made up of, we can say the reflex arc is made up of, in simple language, it is made up of by the receptor, right, receptor to spinal cord and spinal cord to the effector, right, spinal cord to the effector, right? So this is the reflex arc or the reflex section. So now what according to that question, what is the question of that reflex pathway consists of, right? That reflex pathway consists of afferent neuron, receptor neuron, both afferent and both receptor and the afferent neuron. So according to that, the question answer is the both receptor and the efferent neurons, right? This is the reflex pathway, right? And one more thing, Reflex section are of two types. First one is the simple reflex and second one is the acquired reflex, right? The simple reflex is the inborn reflex, right? The simple reflex is the inborn reflex, which is unlearned reflex. Actually it is inborn and unlearned reflex, right? For example, the knee jerk reflex, which is given in NCERT, it is the only example which is given in NCERT, right? The corneal reflex, that is blinking reflex, right? Blinking of the eyelids, and the quick recovery of the balancing while falling, right? Scratch reflex of the frog. All these are the examples of the simple reflex. And when we talk about the acquired reflex, that is according to the requirement we learn it, right? That is the dancing, the singing, the balancing of the body, cycling, horse riding, all these things, right? So these are the reflex action. These are the type of the reflex action and the reflexes, simple reflex, right? Now come to the next. The sockets of skull in which human eyes are located, they are called the orbits. They are called the orbits, right? Zygomatic is the name of the bone, that is the cheekbone, and also the zygomatic muscles also there. The cheek muscles are called the zygomatic. Sphenoid is present in this. Sphenoid is present at the base. That is right. Lacrimal is present here, right? So the human eye is located in the orbit. Centripetal arrangement of three wall layers of the eyeball is, right? Centripetal, that is sclera, choroid and the cornea. To know about this arrangement, we have to know about the structure of the human eye, right? See here, this is the structure of the human eye, right? Of the human eye, and human eye is made up of three layers. When we talk about the structure, it is made up of the three concentric layers. Right? The first one is the outer fibrous layer, right? It is outer fibrous layer, and that outer fibrous layer, in that outer fibrous layer, second one is the middle vascular layer, right? And the third one is the inner nervous layer. In that outer fibrous layer, sclera and cornea is there. Vascular layer is made up of the choroid, ciliary body and the iris, right? And the nervous layer is the retina. Clear? So now what is that? This you can see here, that is the sclera, which is continued in the form of that the cornea, right? That choroid is that ciliary body, and that is the suspensory ligaments, right? That is the iris. This is the iris and that is the pupil, right? So it pupil and the lens. So when we talk about that, the chamber between, there are two chambers, right? That is the anterior chamber and the posterior chamber, right? right? The anterior chamber and the posterior chamber. So the anterior chamber is present in between the iris and the cornea, right? Anterior chamber is present in between the iris and cornea, so that is called the anterior chamber, which is filled with the aqueous fluid, right? And what is the posterior chamber? That is the space between the lens and the iris, right? That is the lens and the iris. The space between the lens and the iris is called the posterior chamber, and both are filled with the aqueous humor, right? Both are filled with the aqueous humor. You can see here, that is the fovea, in which the it is also known as the fovea centralis, right? Cones are present in higher concentration. Retina is the nervous layer, and that inner layer is called the ora serrata. That inner layer is called the ora serrata, right? So this is just a outer outline of the eye, which is the sensory organ. You can see that is the pupil, right? That is the pupil, clear? And we know that the central opening, that pupil, that iris controls the amount of light, right? When we talk about the main function of the iris, that is to control the amount of light enters inside the eyeball, right? So that is the in bright light, iris is contracted and pupil is very small, and in when the light level is falls, then what will happen? The iris get relaxed and pupil enlarges, right? So all these are the questions which is related with the medical. So now what is this? Centripetal arrangement of the three walls of the eyeball is centripetal, that is the sclera, cornea, choroid and the retina, right? That is sclera, choroid and the retina, outer to inner, right? In that manner, clear? So the answer is C. Now come to the next question. Identify the incorrect statement, right? Incorrect statement. Sclera is composed of the dense connective tissue. It is right or wrong? Right. Cornea contains many blood vessels. See, cornea is the fibrous layer, right? It's not contains the many blood vessels, so that's why that statement is incorrect. Thickness of choroid layer is uniform throughout the eyeball. No, it is not. Choroid layer posteriorly forms the ciliary body. No, that is also wrong. You can see here, choroid forms posteriorly ciliary body. No, anteriorly we can say, right? But it's not posteriorly, right? So that statement is also wrong. So the incorrect statement according to that answer is the C, that is 2, 3 and 4 are incorrect statement, right? Now come to the next question. Pigmented and opaque continuation of the ciliary body anteriorly is called pigmented. When it is, if you don't have the idea of opaque continuation, then you just have focus to it. Pigmented, that is related with the iris, right? Pigmented, that is related with the iris. So iris is the pigmented and opaque continuation of the ciliary body, which is anteriorly called. See here, that is opaque and anteriorly continuation of that ciliary body, right? Clear? Now come to the next question, that is the nature of eye lens is, right? When we talk about the lens, we know that the lens is the transparent and the crystalline in nature, right? It's not opaque. If it is opaque, then we will not be able to see anything, right? Just in case of it, the opacity of lens is seen in the case of the cataract, right? So that's why the opaque options are wrong. Transparent and semi-solid, no, it's transparent and the crystalline. So the answer is D, right? Now come to the next. The diameter of pupil is regulated by the muscle fibers of the iris, right? It is the direct answer, right? It is the ciliary muscles actually. Come to the that question. We know that the in that question diameter of pupil is regulated by, the question is asked, right? So that is the muscle fiber of the iris. But what is the function of that ciliary muscle? Actually, ciliary muscle helps to alter the shape of the lens for the near and the far vision, right? And that process is known as the accommodation. So we can say it helps for the accommodation process, right? But when we talk about the diameter of pupil, that is only and only related with the iris. That's why we say that when the bright light, right, in case of bright light the iris contracts. So when the iris contracts, the pupil is very small, little bit, right? But when the light of when the light level falls down, then what will happen? Iris relaxed and pupil enlarges, right? Iris relaxed and pupil gets enlarges, right? So this is the that's why the answer is muscle fibers of the iris, right? Now come to the next question. Sequence of the retinal cell from inside to outside, right? That is the sequence. When we talk about that, these cells are, this is also given in NCERT, right? The ganglionic cell inside to outside, the ganglionic cell, the bipolar cell and the photoreceptor cell, right? So the correct sequence is from inside to outside is that. And when we talk about that, that is the outer to inner, right? That sequence is outer to inner. Clear? Actually, human retina is organized into 5 layers of the neurons, right? 5 layers of the neurons, and sequentially they are, first one is the photoreceptors, right, in which rods and cones are there, right? Second one is the horizontal cells. Second is the horizontal cells, right? And these horizontal cells are present in between the photoreceptors and the bipolar cell, but according and in NCERT only 3 names are given, right? Then the bipolar cells are there, right? Then again one more layer, that is the amacrine cells. And after that, the last is the ganglionic cells, right? After that, the ganglionic cells, right? So this is the sequence of the retinal neurons, right? So according to that, in that question, inner to outer, that is inner side, so the ganglionic cell, then bipolar, then the photoreceptor, right? Clear? So the answer is C. Come to the next question, that is 33. Which one of the following cells contains the light sensitive proteins, that is photopigments? They are talking about the rhodopsin, and the iodopsin, right? rhodopsin and the iodopsin, which is related with the rods and the cones, which are the photoreceptor cells, right? So the light sensitive pigment, so the answer is D. Clear? Daylight photopic vision and color vision. Remember, always rods are responsible for the night vision, that is called the scotopic vision or the twilight. Right, the name you saw the movie Twilight, na, because it is related with the vampires, and these are the stories about the vampires. They are more active at night, right? So rods are more prompt in the night nocturnals, right? Clear? Because it is related with the night vision, and cones are related with the color vision actually, right? So when we talk about the daylight vision or the color vision, the answer is the Bombay. Clear? Which one is correct match? Right, photopic vision is related with the cones, yes, because it is related with the color vision. Scotopic vision related with the rods, exactly. Night vision, right? So the answer, rhodopsin is cones. No, rhodopsin is present in the rods, not in cones, so that is the wrongs, right? So the answer is both A and B, exactly. So the answer is both A and B, the correct match. Both are correctly matched, right? Come to the next question, that is 36. When all types of cones are stimulated equally, then the sensations of which color is produced, right? So if all the cones are stimulated equally, then the there is the neutral, right? There is the neutral, and the color is produced, that is white, right? That is white, blank. Clear? That is not blackout, that is the white color is produced here, right? According to the trichromatic theory or trichromatic hypothesis, right, there are three types of cones which are present in our eye, that is erythropsin, chloropsin and the cyanopsin. Erythropsin is sensitive to the red, chloropsin is sensitive to the green, and cyanopsin is sensitive towards the blue, right? And we know that all the persons know that who are interested in paintings and colors, who knows color combinations well, right? These are the basic colors which form all the colors, right? When we mix the blue and green, it forms the yellow, and the concentration of yellow is more and green is less, then it forms different kind of yellow. If the green is more and blue is less, then so these like that the number of colors is formed. Clear? So that's why if all types of cones are stimulated equally, then the sensation of the white color is produced, right? Now come to the next, that is 37th. Fluid which is drained regularly to the bloodstream, right? That is the aqueous humor actually. That is the aqueous humor. Aqueous humor is drained. Aqueous humor is drained through the canal of Schlemm, right? Here the canal of Schlemm is present, right? That canal of Schlemm opens into the blood vessels, and through that, if that aqueous humor is not drained, right, then what will happen? It creates pressure inside the eye, right? It creates pressure inside the eye, and what will happen? Due to that, the blood vessels compressed, right? Due to that, the blood vessels compressed, and sometimes the vision is not clear due to the compression of the blood vessels. The black spot is formed here due to the clotting of blood, right? And that condition is known as the glaucoma, right? That condition is known as the glaucoma, which is known as the black cataract, to see any object before, when the person wants to see any object, before that object, a black spot of that blood is found here, right? So the answer is that aqueous humor is present in between what? Vitreous humor is present in between the lens and retina. No. Yes, it is present in between the lens and retina, but it's not drained in the bloodstream, right? Regularly, not drained in the bloodstream. So this is not the answer. the aqueous humor which is present in between the cornea and lens, or the aqueous humor present in between the lens and retina? No, aqueous humor is not present in between the lens and retina, so the answer is the Bombay, right? So the answer is the Bombay. So the 37th answer is the Bombay. Now come to the next. The central pit region of the macula lutea is known as the fovea centralis, right? Because it is central pit, fovea centralis, and in fovea 1.5 lakh, approximately 1.5 lakh cones are present in one fovea, right? That's why in both eye 3 lakh cones are present, so we are able to see the colors. But in hawk or the vultures, in one eye 2 foveas are present, that is 3 lakh cones present in one eye, right? That's why from a long distance at the time of flight, they can see the animals which crawling on the land, right? Which crawl on the land, and they eat them easily. They can see from a long distance also, right? Just due to the presence of the fovea. Now come to the next, that is point on the retina from where optic nerves arises is called that portion is called the blind spot, right? That portion is called the blind spot. Actually it is the direct question where the optic nerves arises, right? So you have to learn it. Clear? Now come to the next question. Identify the incorrect statement. Opsin is a type of protein. It's correct. It is related with the mechanism of vision, right? Retinal is an aldehyde of vitamin A. It is correct. Light induces the association of the retinal and opsin, which leads to vision. No, it induces the association of the retinol, right? Clear? Dissociate, actually it dissociate them, not associate, right? So this is the wrong, and so the answer is the C. Answer is the C, because he is talking about the incorrect statement, right? Now come to the next. Which function is not performed by the ear? Hearing is the function of the ear. Maintenance of the body equilibrium is the function of the ear, right? Both A and B. And so there is no function which is not performed by the ear, so the answer is the none, right? Come to the next, which is not a part of the ear. Ear is made up of the external, middle and the inner ear, right? So answer is none, right? So the answer is none. Why? Because here not the part of the ear asked, right? Come to the next. Select the incorrect statement. Outer ear consists of the pinna and external auditory meatus. That is, the outer ear consists of pinna and external auditory meatus, right? So this statement is wrong. Correct. Auditory meatus extends inwards to the tympanic membrane. Exactly. Meatus possesses wax secreting sweat glands, fine hairs. No, this is wrong, right? And tympanic membrane composed of the connective tissue covered with the skin from inside and mucous membrane from outside. It is reversed, right? Tympanic membrane is composed of the connective tissue with skin from outside and mucous membrane from inside, right? So this is also wrong, so the answer is C. Clear? That is 3 and 4. Now come to the next question. Steps is attached to which portion of ear? It is attached with the oval window, right? It is attached with the oval window. We know that this is the tympanic membrane. The handle of the hammer shaped malleus is attached with that, right? This is attached with the incus, right? And this is attached with the stirrup shaped, right? Stirrup shaped, and that stirrup shaped attached, that is stapes, is attached with that oval window. Clear? That's why we say that the tympanic membrane or round oval window, stapes is attached to the which portion of the ear. So we can say here that is the malleus, which is the hammer shaped, right? That is the incus, which is the anvil shaped, and that is the stapes, which is the stirrup shaped, right? That is the stapes, which is the stirrup shaped, and it is attached with, that is the base of the stapes, which is related, which is attached with the oval window, right? It is attached with the oval window. Clear? So that's why the answer is stapes is attached with which portion? So the answer is C, oval window. Now come to the next one. The structure which connects the middle ear cavity with the pharynx, thereby equalize the pressure on either side of the ear drawn is, that is the eustachian tube, which is also known as the pharyngotympanic tube, right? It is a type of elastic cartilage, elastin cartilage example, right? It is a type of elastin cartilage. Clear? It is a type of the elastin cartilage. So the structure which connects the middle ear cavity with the, so the function of the eustachian tube or the pharyngotympanic tube is to equalize the air pressure. Clear? And it also helps to maintain the frequency of sound as well, right? So this is the eustachian tube, right? And in that way the neural control and the coordination with the sensory organs completed, right? So all the whole NCERT is covered with that. Little bit some diagrams will be also discussed, right? That is given in NCERT. That is the organ of corti, organ of corti, right? Cochlea, the semicircular canals. So these diagrams should be read or should be memorized in proper manner with their enumeration, right? Thank you.